Hi everyone, it's Ronnie. I'm sitting in my home office and I'm about to do a tarot reading for book 5. And many of you do know that I'm a certified Tarot Master Instructor, and I have been giving reading tarot and teaching courses online, through email, in person, in groups, even in the old AOL chat rooms, if you remember those. And I did mention on several podcasts that I do use the tarot in writing. So I thought it would be a fun thing to do tonight, to work through and for me to actually show you the process, because it is doable and the tarot tells a story. I do not use it as a fortune-telling device. I don't predict. I'm not an attorney. I don't do any medical information. But with writing a story, giving people options for their life, it works beautifully. So I want to introduce you to what I do. This is my tarot box. It's Native American. Bob and I got this when we went up to Lake George. It has to be easily 35 years ago. And in 1994, when I started learning tarot, I pulled it out and I thought it would be a wonderful box to keep my cards in. And I want to show you, in here, I keep a pendant, which I'm going to put on, a clear crystal quartz, which cleanses the decks after a reading. And I want to show you this deck. I don't know if you can get it anymore. It's called the Cosmic Tarot. The pictures in here are so beautiful and so romantic. I'm just going to pull out to show you a few, as you can see from here. But I use this deck when I'm doing relationship readings, just because the cards are so artistically done. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. The Queen of Cups. The cups are the suits of emotions, and you can see she looks very sensual. But for everyday reading, or when I'm working with a client that's not relationship, I will use the Universal Rider-Waite. The Universal Rider-Waite is the teaching deck. For those of you who have done courses online, and there are several courses online where you can download lessons and they're free. So if you want to learn tarot, I suggest you Google tarot lessons. It's a fabulous medium to use. Now, I cleared my desk. There's nothing electronic. I'm not wearing a watch. I'm even taking off my rings, because we don't want any energy to interfere with the reading. So I'm going to show you how I do it. And for those of you who have read Gemini, you've read 2 tarot readings in there. Barbara Montgomery does a reading in her car, and after she's brought into custody in the hospital, Dr. Trenton does a reading with her. And pretty much when you do a reading, the procedures could be the same. After all these years of me teaching and doing readings, I vary things. For example, what I'm going to do now will be a 1-card spread for each question. If I need more information, then I will put out more cards. When I'm with a client, whether it's an email reading or they're sitting opposite me at my desk, I don't do yes, no. So if I'm asking today, is so-and-so, I'll be the name of a character, a good one to focus on my reading, on my book, that would be a yes, no. I would not do that if I had a person opposite me and they're called a querent. I would not do that with a querent asking a question. I would rephrase it and ask a situation like, what can you tell me about? So, we shuffle the deck 3 times. Sometimes I'll do a grounding meditation for me and for my client when they're here to guide them to giving us information from the universe. Again, I'm not diagnosing anything medical or giving any kind of legal advice. So I shuffled 3 times. Now, even Barbara Montgomery did this procedure in Gemini. When you're putting down a card, you take it from the top of the deck. I hold it in my left hand because I'm a righty. I pick the top card, I draw it to my heart, flip it over, and then put it down. I always use the cards reversed. So here, I got the Lover's card. I'm sorry, I always use the card right side up. So if it comes out reverse, I switch it. It's just easier that way. And it's easier when people who are opposite you and they may be a little nervous, they may be unsure of themselves. So you really want to make them comfortable. So my question that I'm going to be asking, and I'm slipping this back right into the middle of the deck, is what character should I make the main character in book 5? So I'm going to be asking questions about each of the characters that are in the book, and should I focus on them? Because I ended Libra on a very happy finale, happily ever after. And it's the best happily ever after you could imagine. So I felt Sam and Frank are settled where they should be. I might pick up other characters who were in the series and maybe bring a story about them. So I'm going to write it on my notes. What character should be the main character in book 5? Now, today I did a live feed just for a minute, and I told you that the book title has not been solidified yet. There was a choice of 2. And as I was doing research today, it may not even be those 2. So things are still up in the air. But what character should be the main character in book 5? Now, I'm going to write down characters, and I will see if I get a yes, no for that person. Now, a yes would be a positive card, a happy card. A no would be a negative card. And we'll talk about that as I go. So, for example, should Nick Valatutti be the main character? Now, Nick, for those of you who read the books, Nick is Samantha Wright's partner, and he's a detective. So, should Nick be the main character in book 5? All right, I pulled the King of Swords. Now, that could be a positive card. It's aggressive. So, Nick is an option. Now, I'm going to leave the card on the side. Should Lex Withers be a main character? And I'll write the name down, and let's see if I get a positive card or negative. I got the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is one of the best cards in the deck, and it shows that your destiny is almost there, or what you're working on is almost there. This is a pretty strong card for yes. So we shall see. Now, along with Lex, should Bella Richards, who's Lex's partner, be a main character? Because they're partners, so it could be a case with them. And Lex turned out to be an amazing guy. When you read Scorpio, you will see everything he did to help Samantha Wright in her case, and everything he did for John Trenton, who came in from Gemini for his own case. So let's see if Bella Richards, now she's positive, and Lex is positive with the Wheel of Fortune. That's a darn good couple. So let's see if Bella Richards should be a main character. Whoa, I got the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is a spiritual teacher. So I'm getting the message with two major arcana cards, the Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune. This is pretty strong. When you get two major arcanas, beautiful. So I'm putting that down. Now, let's go on to John Trenton. Should John Trenton be a main character in Book 5? And by main character, I mean the story around him. They're thrillers, so obviously there's a crime. So should he be involved in the crime? All right, King of Wand. So he's in control. He's the department shrink, along with Frank Chaos. So he is going to have a role in Book 5. And since John Trenton worked so well with Lex and Bella in Scorpio and in Libra, these are possibilities. Now, we'll go with Vicky Trenton. And as you know, my books are all multi-plotted. So I have subplots with various characters, and Vicky in Libra had a main part, which you'll soon discover, but that will be next year. So let's see if Vicky will be involved. Now, this card does not look as disastrous as it appears. The Three of Swords. This could mean a love triangle, conflicts of interest, but I surely do not see John and Vicky having problems with a love triangle. But I would take this to mean that in the Book 5, she will be maybe a supporting role, but not a main role. She will not have her own subplot. Now, Frank, Chaos, and Samantha Wright, who are the main characters in Libra, let's see how they're going to play out in Book 5. Whoa. All right. The Four of Pentacles. I'm thinking that the main plot will not be about Frank, because I think maybe he's been in it a lot, and you don't want to do something that's overkill. Very often in series, different characters are picked up to play different roles. So now let me see what happens when I go with Sam, because I've been thinking about following after Libra and doing scenarios with them and some of the other characters that came out that I'm not telling you about yet, and continuing that. I can continue with my frame of thought, but I wasn't coming up with a plot yet. So let's see what happens. Let's see if Sam will be the main part of the plot. Ace of Pentacles. Something new financially for Sam. It could be she's in there, but I'm thinking she's going to have a different path other than being a detective. So let's see what happens when I start thinking in terms of that. But Frank and Sam seem to be thinking about money a lot. So let's see where that leads them. I also had some other characters that I brought into Libra, and one of them was Shauna Hendrick. And she was an orthopedic surgeon. So let's see if she's going to come back. Page of Wand. If I bring in Shauna, it may be a long distance kind of thing, maybe through the mail. The Page of Wands is a message coming from mail or taking a risk. So maybe I'd be taking a risk as a writer, bringing her in. So I'm getting not so much. Now, Frank in Scorpio winds up having a brother that he did not know about. Actually, there were two. If you read Scorpio, you'd know what I'm saying. And one of Frank's brother's names is Carl. Let's see if I should bring in Carl. Five of Wands. This is a conflict card. Almost like you can win the battle but lose the war kind of thing. And a lot of conflicts. So I'm getting, nah, I don't think I want him as a character. So far, I'm getting the main characters of Book 5 should be Detective Withers and Detective Richards. They came out as far as primary. So now, as I'm thinking of plotting, I'm going to put aside what I was thinking about Frank and Sam and maybe focus on Lex and Bella. She's single. He's married with 2 sons. So let's see what case can involve them, because they are wonderful characters and wonderful human beings. So I hope this gave you some idea of how to use the cards. If you're interested, please do look online and download courses. They are there for you. If you have tarot questions and you'd like to ask me at the end of this video, please feel free to write them in and I'll give you an answer. But please realize it's public. Usually when I do a reading, it is totally confidential. No one knows anything. There's no paper trail. I never discuss a client with someone else or anything that I've done with a reading with anyone else. So if you write me a question that you'd like answered, please know other people will see it because it will be done on the video. Also, look to see if you can get the Cosmic Tarot, the relationship one. I have no idea if that deck is still available. So, have a great night. This gave me a lot of clarity of where to focus the 5th book, because I was totally thinking about Frank and Sam, and perhaps I need to go in a new direction. Well, the cards does not mean it's written in stone, but this was pretty obvious tonight that these 2 cards were the best affirmative, the best positive cards out of the deck that were picked. So have a great night. Please feel free to ask me questions, and I will be seeing you soon.